This is a tripod head leveler. I received it for free to review. If you wanted to purchase it, it would cost you about $40. They haven't paid me for my review, and my opinions remain my own. So in the box, it comes with a little nylon carry bag that has a little belt loop on it, where you could attach that to a backpack strap or something. It's only about 1.25 inches wide. So the bag is slightly padded. There's just a little bit of foam between the outer and the inner layers. And then here is the camera leveling head itself. So it has a 3/8 inch nut on the bottom, and it also has a 3/8 inch bolt on the top. So this is designed for 3/8 inch tripods and camera heads or quick release plates or whatever. It has 2 levels on it, so there, well, 3 levels. There's these levels where you can kind of do X and Y leveling that way, and then there's a bubble level you can look down on from the top if you don't have something on top of it already. Now, to adjust it, there's some locking knobs. So these 3 at the top that are smaller are locking knobs, and they lock it in place so it can't move at all. And so if you want to adjust it, you have to move these locking knobs down kind of on top of the adjustment knobs. Okay, so now that these locking knobs are all the way down, you can turn the adjustment knobs to shorten or lengthen each of these posts, and it ships all the way out lengthened. So if you turn it down, for example, on this knob, I've turned this one down quite a bit until it bottoms out there, and so now it's tilted down in that direction. And if you wanted to level it out again, you can turn them all down so that they're all bottomed out, and then your adjustment would be by moving them up to go higher. And you want to be careful here not to strip anything out, so when it gets to the end it'll get harder to turn. You don't want to be pushing past that, because it is possible to break these guys if you push past too hard. So as soon as it kind of hits the stop, stop turning it. And so that's level, and you just adjust these knobs to get it where you want it, and they have a little bit of a spring in them, and so if you want to keep them from moving at all, you can take the locking knob, run the locking knob up to the top and tighten it down on the top, and that'll really lock them down. If you don't have a super heavy load on this guy, it's not usually necessary to actually lock the locking knobs, but if you had a really heavy thing on top of it, you might want to do that just so the weight doesn't shift and tilt as you move around with it. So these are not quite as fast to adjust as a ball head, but you can be very precise with them, because you can turn these and just get 1/10 of a degree difference as you move around. Now, it's not just like X, Y, and Z. They kind of all interact with each other, so you have to figure out which way you want to go and which one needs to go up and down to get that. But with this, you can achieve very fine leveling if you have precision equipment that needs that. So the body here is aluminum. There's some hardware here which isn't very magnetic, just a little bit magnetic, so I suspect most of this hardware is stainless steel as well. I'm not getting any major clicks from my magnet, so my suspicion here is that we're all dealing with aluminum and stainless steel exclusively, and you don't have to worry about corrosion or rust on it. So as an example application, I have a smart telescope, and it comes with its own tripod, but the tripod, it's not super easy to level it. You can turn these guys and push a leg in and out and then tighten it down, but you're doing that while you're dealing with the weight of the telescope on top of it. And so I found it's really nice to have this guy in between my tripod and the telescope. And so by doing that, I can basically support the weight of the telescope, and it has an internal accelerometer that is giving me level indications, and so I can set this up and then turn those knobs to get it level. Alright, so I have on the tablet the level indicator here, and so if you adjust these knobs, that level will get closer and closer to being 0. And there's a little bit of trial and error where you have to figure out which knob turns things which way. So having the fine adjustment on these knobs really makes it possible to get it extremely level. Now, if you're subscribed to my channel, you might recognize this guy because I've already reviewed basically the exact same product. Same case, same product. The only difference here is the silkscreen name that's on it appears to be different. But everything else, as far as I can tell, these are exactly identical products with just a different silkscreen name on it. So if you see a product that looks like this, even if the name is different, it's very likely that they're all made in the same factory, they're white label, and just different companies buy them, put their name on it, or order them with their name on it, and ship and sell them. So if you see something that looks extremely similar to this, it probably is. And at that point, I would just say go with the one that has the lowest price and the fastest shipping to you, because I believe, as far as I can tell, these are the exact same product. Now, I demonstrated this leveling a C-Star S50 smart telescope. It used to be the level was extremely important on the C-Star, even at nighttime. Nowadays, their firmware update has gotten better, and you don't really need to have the telescope leveled at nighttime. The only time it's really critical to level the C-Star now with the updated firmware is during the daytime, when you're trying to find the sun or the moon during the daytime, because it can't do plate solving with stars in the daytime. And so something like this is nice to have around if you're doing daytime solar or lunar observation and you want that thing to start from a perfectly level situation to make it as easy as possible to find the sun or the moon. But it's not, strictly speaking, necessary for the C-Star S50 for astronomy anymore. Now, it would be useful to level anything else that has a 3/8" stud connection point, and it does work well with the C-Star because the legs of the C-Star go around the outside and don't bind up on it at all.